Well, hello everyone. William Davis here with A.P.C Photography and WDCD Media. I am here tonight to talk to you about one of my favorite subjects and something I think is extremely important, and that is live streaming and broadcasting. We recently had an opportunity to broadcast the mayoral debate here in Seattle. I had the pleasure of working with Converge Studios and Converge Media on that. I was doing some sound work on that that day. Beautiful setup. Another one of my friends, Lavoy, he was doing with Prestige Media, using one of the products I'm going to talk about tonight, the Tail 2, alongside another camera for the live stream of the mayoral debate 2. And this is a different debate, different day, which makes this product so amazing. So I'm going to talk about this real quick. If I look down, I'm going to bring it up in just a second. If looking down, just forgive me. This is just a quick setup. I just want to talk about this real quick. First off, let's add the Tail 2 to the screen. This product has really changed the way that I've looked at PTZs. We used this for an MMA event. We used it for a couple different conferences. And the one thing that set this apart was the ability to really have a small product with you that had really great footage. Like you can see right here, this footage of the lady dancing is really cool. So that was pretty awesome. They also have the AI tracking. That worked pretty good. For MMA, it was a little bit harder because it was trying to track between two bodies, but it worked really good overall in the MMA objectivity, which was kind of just surprising. It's also, this is the air, should be the tail. Hold on. My bad. Went out of the screen there. So when it tracked for the 2.0 tracking, it worked really well. We only had like one of the MMA people not stay in the tracking bubble. And we're using a cell phone, by the way, to control that, which was just phenomenal. If we had an iPad, I think it would have been better on our side. That was our mistake. We just didn't have an iPad there. And that worked out really good. Another thing that I found that was really nice about the Tail 2 is its integration into our system. So, for example, we tend to use the ATEM Minis Pros, or we end up using any form of a YOLO to bring in the device. The interface on this device is really good. Let me get down to the bottom of the screen here. It's not this one. And forgive me, I'm jumping past some stuff that they probably would love for me to say, but I'm going to get down to the part that's really good for the technician side and talking about what makes this product so great. Right here. This is an HDMI 2.0 port, which is awesome. It has an Ethernet NDI system in it. Now, a lot of people aren't jumping on the NDI yet, but it is becoming one of the bigger, easier to work with protocols for me because I have multiple products already with NDI. And so being able to hook this in the NDI, beautiful. Another piece I really like on this is the 3G SDI. I have several of the Atomos monitors that have SDI inputs. So being able to combine these two at a station and someone can see what they're doing, not only from their phone, but what's going in there, that's beautiful. It has a microphone in and out, which I really like. So having these ends on the unit is spectacular. And if you notice, it says mic in and it has line in. This means that you can take a mixer board and run a line level signal into this unit versus just having to use a mic level signal. That's huge. Not everything has that, but this does. Ethernet, as we went through right there already, it has a USB 3.0 port. It has a micro SD slot, which I do like this because we can record on the unit, which is one of the things we do all the time, which is a backup to a backup. Most of the PTZs that we get to work with do not have this integrated micro SD slot in it. And that can be a small dilemma. That means we have to bring another device in to record with, be it an Atomos recorder, an external recorder, or a laptop, utilizing whatever system we happen to have. I like the fact that this has the built-in already. And now remember, this show is about cameras, lighting, and more. And this is that more when it comes to cameras. Being able to record everything in the camera in the unit is spectacular. Now, if you look through this gate right here, there's a couple other really cool things. Now, this is a tech site. So if you are not that techie, this is for your guys on the tech side. And we'll kind of go over that another time with you. But basically, you got the HDMI monitoring, which is great. USB-C is regular connections. But what you're going to find here when you're connecting it with these gigabit systems is you have options to activate, and it seems like this is the case, NDI, SRT, RTMMP, which is three of the main ways that we are now using networking to get things across to where they need to go. And along with that, with this SRT and RTMP, you're able to actually stream directly into YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn. And these are really important pieces when you're out working on the field. So we can actually pre-program a lot of this stuff in and then basically have your cell phone, which is working as your controller, and then start your streaming and you're ready to go. And this saves us in some of the setups in smaller rooms, or if we need to do like a quick, convenient setup. And that happens a lot of times. So, for example, we were recently at an event and they needed live streaming in another room. Had we had a Tail 2 there, we could have easily said yes. Now, we were able to come up with a yes, but that took a little bit. And it also took a bigger piece of equipment. So we had to go find one of the Sony cameras that's not a primary camera, connect it into their particular live streaming piece, which was not the events live streaming. They wanted a special like Facebook live stream. So for us, we now had to connect the Sony up to the Wi-Fi, and then we had to use our phone to set up all the connections. And now we got the Sony camera working as a live stream piece, but we had to disassemble a piece of hardware. And that's taking pieces away from our assets that are in that event. And it sucked, but it worked. But we could have had a better situation had we had this unit for that particular day. Now we have a person in our team that has one of these, and it's been very, very powerful in the situations we've been using, but we can't always guarantee that person is going to be either available that day or hired on that day to work that particular gig. So this is where I look at this as a tool that we're going to really find a way to optimize when we get a few of them in our inventory for multiple events and make things easier. So that's just my thoughts on it. And as you can see right here from the tech side of it for live streaming, this is just a very, very powerful tool where we can bring in a lot of information. We can do smart control with it. It's pretty dang powerful. Now, really getting to like the tech spec side of it, though, I'm very, very much so impressed with the tech specs on this. And here's where I'm showing examples of plugging in the hardware. There's your SD slots, your LAN and the SSD. Here's some of the protocols they have. So they're really set up for a long, robust set of protocols. This other part too, I didn't know how important this was with the PTZ until we had some power issues with some PTZs in the past. Having an internal battery, that's a cool piece. That doesn't mean I always need it, but having it is pretty dang cool. The seamless smart connections. I love this part here. Remember, I brought the Atomos, which is easy one to work with. There's the iPads, there's the other ones. So that part's easy. Well, this is an OSBOT Talent. That looks like an Atomos. I got to get my hands on an OSBOT Talent because I think that's going to be like game changing with the way that looks. So yeah. So this is going to be awesome. Another piece right here that I think will surprise a lot of people. Wow, there's some extras with this. I'm still learning about this a little bit. NDI, I've been using that for a while. That's a freaking awesome feature. Um, this is where it really gets kind of get down to the nitty gritty. You got a 1/1.5 sensor, which is really nice to have. You have the tracking. You have the HNDI. Let's look at some more of the tech specs here. Let's see if that's still on the page. Oh, no. All right, so let's get into these tech specs. This is for people like me who just love diving into the specs. So this has got a hybrid system for the zoom in, and I'll get over that just a second. Looks like we've got a 12 time optical lens. I'm trying to understand how this one works. I will know more when we get a chance to really play with it some more, but it looks like it's got a 5 times optical plus a 12 time hybrid. So 22 to 110 millimeters is actually really good. That's generally what I do with my cameras. So the A7 IV, which is right there, has a 24 to 105 on it. The FX30, which I use a lot of times, has the 18 to 105. So that's a 24 to 165 equivalent. So anywhere in those ranges there is really good for most events, and you can really get some nice zoom in and out with it. If this is also a 12 times, so you're really going to get some extra length out of this zoom here, which I'm going to love seeing. The white balance area, really good. It does have the gyroscopic on there. It does have the 4K, and it has a 4K 60. I like this part a lot because when we record, I like to record in 60 for ramping or slowing down. Having the 60 frames is huge. It makes a big difference. It allows you to be more creative in the post production for your clients. So, for example, if we just did an MMA event, or if we were doing something that had some body action to it and things like that, or we get some claps going from the audience, we can slow that down, we can speed that up, and it just turns into a very massively powerful piece having that 4K 60. Also, in that package, it seems like you should be able to do the same thing, 120 1080p, which that's phenomenal. And some of these specs, yes, I'm just looking at them now. And the reason why I'm looking at them now is because a lot of times I'm not spec hungry, but this here is one of the things I really wanted to know about. We're looking at 160 megabits per second, which means it's not going to eat up the video card. Super nice. We're really only looking at 20. You only need a V30 card. That's nice. So you really don't have to worry about that at all. The panning and degrees and all that, that's pretty within normals. I do like the fact that this Wi-Fi protocol covers everything up to AX, which is beautiful. Bluetooth 5.4, which you're going to have a strong support there. The USB-C 2 amp and the PD charge. This is actually pretty cool because I work with a lot of. Let's see if I can find one here. Hold on a second. I probably have one here. So I work with a lot of these V-mount batteries that have USB-C ports on them, and I'll clamp them onto a stand so that they go into a camera, or I'll put them into a clamped package. Having that capability of giving it a power supply through USB-C and have that running for the whole day without having to put a plug to it at all is going to be nice, especially if it's an area where I'm not going to be plugging it in through Ethernet, through power over Ethernet, or if I'm working in a system. And this does happen sometimes. We'll get an integrated Ethernet system, but it doesn't have power over Ethernet built into it. And I don't know if you know much about power over Ethernet, but it is phenomenal. Hold on just one second. Yes, I'm also working. I work all the time, and I'm always in communication with people. Um, that's weird in the live stream, but that happens sometimes. Where's my thoughts at? Working with these types of systems is really, really important to have. And I just completely lost track of my thoughts. Oh, yeah. Having the power system and power over Ethernet. Not everything has power over Ethernet. It puts out a lot of power to the camera and it powers everything up for you. But if you're in a network system that doesn't have it, you're still going to need a power supply. And this is going to be revolutionary. What it will allow you to do is be able to take a small camera, put it onto a pole or a stand, get it into a location, or you get it mounted in a location, and just have a V mount there, and it will cover your power supply for the whole day. Or if you happen to have like a power brick, that'll cover you for the whole day, like a 20 amp, 20 milliamp, 20,000 milliamp one should cover you for the whole day, which is phenomenal. I love the fact that we got this technology now that allows us to do those things. Now, here's the battery things. It's telling you got about 5 hours, and that's when you're using 1080p 30, which I'll probably be using 60, which is going to cut down the battery life on there. Of course, you got your OSBOT information center and all that stuff. But the big thing to me when it comes to this OSBOT here is it gives me tons of flexibility in the production. I look forward. We have the Black Business Leadership Conference coming up. I look forward to using that in one of the rooms. We have one that's going to be available that day. That's just going to be great. Now, the next thing in my mind is also another OSBOT product. And there's a couple of these products that are out there, and I've been thinking about them as part of our inventory, and I'm not 100% certain how I'm going to use this. At the same time, we have been looking for a solution for clients when it comes to when they're coming on a WebEx or a Zoom or something like that. And I'm thinking from the success I've seen so far with the Tail 2 that we had at a couple different conferences, that the OSBOTs might be the brand that's going to be our send out that goes with our Rode Wireless Pros. And there's a reason why we use the Rode Wireless Pros. They're very simple to use. They're very easy to clip onto somebody and they give really good sound. And they're just a USB-C plug-in. Anything that I can run that's a USB-C plug-in and it's ready to go is great for clients who are not used to having these components with them, the wireless mics, all the rest, but they're coming in as a presenter and we want them to sound like the best they can. We want them to look the best they can. And a lot of webcams, let's be frank, just don't look that great. So the solutions that come with the webcams is, what do? Our objective now, especially with this new hybrid in-person scenario, like what we're doing on the 7th, where we have someone who's going to be coming in on a WebEx at the same time, we're going to have, I think, about 100 people there that are just going to be part of this conference. We really want to make it to where it's a powerful solution for them every time that someone comes in and it looks really good. I mean, this wasn't really set up to be like the perfect scenario. So I've got a light bouncing off our ceiling and I look pretty good just because it's a Sony camera. But on a webcam, I'm not going to look this good. It's going to be like, let's see, I'll switch this around a little bit. I want to switch to the webcam here and I'm going to show you the reason why it's important that we have a solution for this. And this is going to probably ramble on for like 30 minutes, but it's fine. Let's go over here, settings, jump into the, now you see that look. I have a beautiful light up here that just looks great. And this is the webcam. This is the webcam. I mean, got a 300-watt light up here that's got like a 97% accuracy on color. And this isn't even close. So you take that camera view and let's switch it out with camera view. Ta-da! I mean, we're like night and day. And this is the thing we're running into. Like, we want them to come in and look beautiful when they're on the iMac. And I need something that can pull that off. Uh, there's another product that OSBOT has that I really, really like the idea of it. Give me just 1 second. And that particular product is this one here. Hold on. Let me pull that up. Let me stop sharing it here. I'm doing so many things up here. I'm just having some fun tonight. So let me stop sharing this page and let's bring up the other one. So I did a little bit of checking on this one. Hold on. And we're going to kind of go through this page together. It's a brand new product for me to look at. And this is definitely going to be something I'm going to send to clients who are looking to come into a stream because it's going to be a lifesaver. Hi, this is the AI powered HD PTZ webcam. Frankly put, the reason why I like this particular one, it gives us a couple of features. First off, it's a PTZ. So we're going to send these out with a little stand and have it pretty much pre-mounted onto it. This will be shipped in a package alongside our Rode Wireless Pros that go out to a client. They're going to get a choice of a lapel, a regular click-on, or they're going to have the conversation mic. And we'll give them the choice on that. It's pretty nice the setup we're doing for those type of clients, and it's a corporate client, and it makes it where it's easy for them. We're also going to send it out with a little tiny light that has a battery already attached to it. It's fully charged with a little stand and a little soft boxy thing. So it's going to be in a box about this big, and basically they just pull it out, and we have one technician talk to them and walk them through, and it's just a couple of sticks and things, and then they can set up basically a studio in their office and come across looking highly professional. And I love the fact this is a PTZ because we'll be able to have it do AI tracking and following and all of that. So let's kind of walk through this product that I think is going to help us a ton when it comes to bringing someone in on a live stream. So we're going to have the Tail 2 there as we're capturing the live stream, audience reaction, people there, or the event itself. We're going to have that, but then we're going to have this for people who are going to be coming in. So first off, we only need 1080p delivery. So it can be 60 or 30, but apparently this can go up to 100 frames per second, which is super nice. AI tracking, we are definitely going to need that. We're going to need a great video image. It should have a great video image. From what I can tell from the specs, it should have a really good image on it. This is a CMOS sensor. It does have 12-bit dynamic range, which for most of y'all out there, that don't mean nothing. But for someone like me, that means we're going to have really good dark shadows and really good highlights, because everything in the middle always comes out good on these sensors. It's basically how bright it is and how dark it is ends up being the issue. This should work out really good overall for the sizes on it. There is going to also be a little bit more smoothness because they're going to have up to 100 frames per second, which is super nice. And then here's what I was talking about. As you can see in this demo here, it's going to have a little bit more of that middle and upper colors, which is going to make a huge difference. Dual native ISO. I didn't know a webcam had this. I've worked with a lot of webcams, and it's, the only one I saw that worked really good was the Surface Pro webcam. And I don't know what magic they put in that thing. That thing always worked. Like if a client had a Surface Pro, they look great. iPad was somewhere in the middle, but Surface Pro always looked great. So dual ISO, what that really means is in normal bright lights like this, it uses a lower number of gain to make image look good. And then in a higher and brighter situation, a darker situation versus a brighter situation, it would raise up the gain but still not lose the clarity, and it wouldn't make it grainy. So it having a dual ISO in a webcam is going to be great for offices that aren't lit very well. They looks like it's going to have an HDR. I want to see how that looks before I talk about it, because HDR can be all over the place. The autofocus, I like that part, but it's going to be able to do product and the other, which is nice. Digital zoom doesn't bother me at all. I've used digital zooms for a long time. Sony has something called clear image zoom. So what they do is they basically use less and less and less of the sensor's readout to display image with, and that's how they do the zoom so that they don't lose clarity. Instead of trying to, there's another way you can do zoom, but clear image zoom, it was worked great. Digital zoom is a little bit different, and if this is working a similar type thing, I'm going to love that. Smart AI, as we all know, is becoming part of our lives. So you can have auto zoom and tracking, and this is going to make a big difference because if someone's doing a presentation someplace else that's going to be popping into a presentation, having that AI, it will make a difference for me, and I'm going to be playing with that a little bit. Um, Choosing body close up, lower body, hands, headless mode. I like all of these things. These are all pieces that will definitely set it apart. Being able to position people on the thirds, I love that. It's gonna be one of those things like I can't believe we're gonna get this in a webcam. A couple other things I think is kind of cool is just how you control it with your hands and all that. I mean, it is what it is. Uh, that's going to be what it means. Beauty mode, the fact to have it in the camera is nice. That's going to be one of the things that's going to be easy. I don't know that I care about the noise canceling microphones because I'm not going to be using a microphone in the system. I will be sending professional microphones along with it, but I will try it out to see if it is effective. Because if it is, then I'm going to be extremely happy because not every system, and I do mean not every system, is super effective when it comes to um, making sure that it has, overall great sound. Sony's does off their cameras, which I'm not using tonight. I'm using this little microphone right here. But others have been so-so. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having internal microphones. I just think for me and the type of work I do, it's just not going to work for us. And here's what I meant by the mounting piece. This has got a quarter 20 mount on it, if I remember correctly. And that means I can send it over with a stand or anything like this. And it's just going to be easy to mount anywhere it goes, which ensures you're going to have a really, really good, easy. What the? Oh no. I like that. All right. I know that's dumb, but I like that. That's kind of a cool feature because sometimes someone has to get up and do some stuff real quick, and they're in the back studio, and it's nice to be able to let them do that. I'm going to remember that. Uh, there's a remote control. Love that. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a nice little product to use all the way around. So this is just going to be one of those things I'm going to add into it. I do have to say, OSBOT has a really, so far, superb to use app on their phones and on tablets. I like it. I've had an opportunity to play with it a little bit, and I like it. It works really good. We had our PTZ tech working with us, and she loved it. Being able to control everything off the phone, and it was actually working as good as a controller. That was nice. Don't know what's going to happen. We have multiple cameras in place, but we'll try that out and see how that works. Of course, all the live streaming stuff is great. All the remote stuff is great. I don't know what accessories I would get for this. I do see the user scenarios. Uh, the only question someone might ask me is why wouldn't I go with, say, like a Tiny 2? I can tell you right now, I only need HD, and I do like the fact that it has a dual native ISO. Uh, it's overall, I think it's just a great little product to add to the scenarios of what you're doing, how you're doing, and all the rest. Let me get rid of this real quick. From that. Now, if you're looking at going to streaming all the time or using products like this for your work, I think looking at this product line is going to be a good starter point for you. And it could be your endpoint as, utilizing it in a lot of your scenarios. I do also say not every camera is for everybody. But I think a lot of these new cameras can be used in places where we are using our bigger cameras, and we could use those bigger cameras for a stronger emphasis. So if I'm using a wide shot and I just need it to give me like a good wide of the room and stuff like that, having a PTZ that I can move that wide and move it around is super nice. Now, if I need like that steady like really good, crystal clear IMAG image, or I need that also. And I'm going to use that like an A7 type series camera or an FX series camera, C70 series type camera for that job, or a Black Magic camera. Any of those would be the ones I'd use for that scenario, because then they're just, 4K, bigger sensor. But if I'm doing wides, I'm getting crowd shots. If I'm doing something that's, where I don't want to set up a gigantic rigging situation, and I want to be able to get like sports shots and things like that, this is where these cameras are just going to come in and be super amazing. And let me tell you the three scenarios I think the OSBOT Tail 2 is just going to like really shine. One, sports events. I don't think people realize how nice it will be to have 4, 5, or 6 different angles coming in through NDI. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful being able to get these shots from multiple locations on a field and run the Ethernet cable through, and it has power over Ethernet throughout the system. That magical, absolutely magical. In an MMA boxing situation, I think that's another one of the sports situations that would be great. Now, the other area I think this would be spectacular in are intermediate meetings type scenarios, or group gatherings, or if we're at a group gathering that's outside or inside and I need mobility with it. Having the battery already in it and being able to just hook HDMI cables or SDI cables and just set them up, and I've got like a 3-hour battery or a 2-hour battery, and I can just run that to my system on my deck on a battery powered system 2, which I've done this several times with the Atomos. I love it. I love the idea of being able to have my Atomos switcher board or my YOLO switcher board and these in any of those scenarios and be ready to just pop and go. I think that's just absolutely phenomenal. If you've used a lot of V-mount battery solutions like I have, need an hour or two stream or something like that, I think that's just going to be great. And having the ability to record the information in those two is just, that's what I'm talking about. Having the image and the rest, that's going to be great. And then the third scenario, which I think is going to be the surpriser one, is going to be multi-room conferences. I think that's where it's going to be the biggest shiner, where it's going to grow the most, because you're going to have this in multiple conference rooms, multiple ways, and people are just going to see it and go, oh, this image looks good. And it's going to have all the AI features and all the rest. I think that's just really where it's going to shine. Now, I appreciate anyone who watched the stream tonight. It's like 11 o'clock on the West Coast time. So, I mean, we're talking like 2 in the morning. But it's the time I got where I can just jump in and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. We will be refining this show more as I move into our Bellevue studio. Just so you know, these are just intermediate shows until I get into the Bellevue studio, which I'll start doing probably 6 episodes a week or 5 episodes a week on a single day shoot, and we'll just punch out a bunch of these. So don't be surprised if I'm a week behind on some of the camera products and everything else. My apologies, but that's part of doing, multiple episodes in one day. So that's coming up. We have a studio in Bellevue that's fully set up to make this look a lot better and go through the products a lot better. We'll be actually demoing some of the stuff too. So we'll have cameras and everything else demoing in those. So cameras, coffee, and more coffee cameras and more. Jeez. Coffee cameras and more is going to have a whole lot to it that's just going to really step it up. We will be taking the EV Mux logo off. We'll be using another source for that. Well, other than that, thanks for watching. You didn't have to. It's like 30 minutes into this thing. I love doing these streams. They're just fun to do. Y'all take care. Peace. Bye-bye now.